Hi everybody, it's Lori with Main Street Gardener. I'm a Zone 7B garden outside the DC area, and I've been gardening for really since I was a child. I'm a third generation gardener, and I just love all things flowers and being outdoors in the beauty of the garden. But it is still winter here, and so today was Saturday. We were out running errands, going to the grocery store, had to go to Home Goods and some other fun places. We also stopped by one of my favorite garden, really it's a vintage antique store, but it also has a lot of garden shops. So I'm going to show you that in a clip, just a little bit about the place that I like to go, full of antiques. It's where I get a lot of my antique containers that you'll see when I do floral arrangements, as well as just beautiful things for the home and garden. So I hope you enjoy that little tour. But we were also at Trader Joe's, and I couldn't resist getting a collection of blooming plants right now. And I just loved this collection of colors. I thought it really spoke to the season. And of course, it's February. And I just wanted to do kind of a moody, a little dramatic floral arrangement. And I thought I'd bring you along.
So we will get back to the flowers in just a minute, but I wanted to show you a little bit of the antique vintage place that I stopped and visited today. So this is called 𝐂𝐎𝐋𝐿. It is out in Virginia, and it started as a farmhouse that was just filled with antiques and different vendors. Now they also have this outdoor space. And this is where I find a lot of unique garden pieces. So today I was really impressed with, or really thought it was interesting, these kind of colored, ornate, they were very heavy. I'm not sure, I guess they were made by maybe an artist. I'm not sure. If you know, let me know in the comments, but they could be really fun hanging from a tree or a planter. Now, I also absolutely loved this trellis. It is very heavy, very sturdy. Now, one of my favorite shops is this old farmhouse. It's a small little shop, and they just have really fun curated items. I thought these little containers were great. The bird bath right here was actually a great price. I almost took it. It's very heavy concrete. It would be beautiful on a pillar. And that little fox statue, it also kind of caught my eye. So inside, the space is filled with home goods, antiques like these ironstone glassware pitchers, plates, lots of baskets, just a curation of a variety of items. You can just kind of look around and see lots of fun things. Now, this basket caught my eye. I'm updating my laundry room, and so I did grab this. It was only $19, and it's in great shape. Now, as I was walking in another space, I loved this glass little container. I thought you could use it to make a terrarium or put plants in, but it was a little too expensive for my budget. Now, they have these outdoor spaces that are around the outside of the farmhouse, and they are just filled with a variety of items and usually priced pretty good. I am looking for some of these glass 𝐋𝐿'𝐒, but these did not have a top on them, so I passed. Now, the inside on the first floor is filled with some designer items and more of a decor design space, and this was just beautiful. A great transition from winter into spring, very inspiring.
So I've got a lot of really deep, beautiful colors, some coral berries, but also a little pop of white, and of course some greenery. So I hope it's going to come together beautifully. Now, I'm not sure which container to use, so you'll have to let me know in the comments which one you would use. I have this vintage container. This is from, actually, it's a Johnson Brothers, England, and it's a tribute to Monticello. And it says it was made in England, and it is just beautiful. It's got the painting of Monticello in Virginia, which is what was the home, or where Thomas Jefferson had his garden and home. And it's just really beautiful. I thought the colors would be really nice. And I love to use vintage containers. Really fits the theme of my home, which my home is a 1908, 1906, 1908 Victorian home that's been renovated, but still has a lot of its original charm. So I love to use these containers. So that's option one. Option two is older, and it is made in the US, and it says the Sheffield, I never can quite read the bottom. It's something Sheffield. It was made in the US, and it is very heavy, almost like probably was silver, but it's old and vintage, and it's been patinaed. And I just love that about it. Now, this would be a little bit taller version, and I definitely could get something really big and beautiful. So this was kind of my first thought when I went out to my flower studio to find something, but I also love this one. This one does great for arrangements. Now, for either of these, I do have this vintage floral frog. This is one that I got at an antique store, and I love to use this kind because it has really large where you could put the stems. They're really, really large, and you've got several openings. So this one works great, and it will fit down in both of these containers. So that would be my option for that. Now, if you don't have a flower frog and you're doing arrangements, you can also use floral tape. You can use masking tape, clear tape. You can also just make a nest with your greenery, which a lot of times that's what I'll do. So you don't need a flower frog if you're new to flower arranging. The third option is one that I use all the time. Guys, this is a bloom container. It is some kind of metal, plastic metal, not plastic, but I guess it's kind of some type of metal plastic resin. I actually picked this up at Joann's, and it is just a great size container for floral arrangements. Now for this one, you can see the inside. I like the metal patina, I like the aged look, and also you can get a really large arrangement. Now for this one, I would also use this vintage flower frog. It's a huge one, and again, it's got the really large containers to put. Now I have just recently seen these types at my vintage or antique stores. You could probably also find them on Etsy or online. I really enjoy using these, this versus the pin, kind of there's a pin cushion frog. I like these, just it allows you to put 2 skinny branches in or some really thick branches. So this one fits perfect down in my container. It's also very heavy, so I don't have to tape it down. So I've got 3 options, and I'm going to take a minute and think about it. You let me know in the comments which one you would choose, and then we're going to get started making our arrangement today for the month of February. Okay, you guys, I decided to go with this gorgeous container. I'm actually going to challenge myself. I have only done an arrangement in this container, I think, 1 time. The reason I haven't used it a lot is often out in the garden, the stems may not be long enough. I also, during the growing season, like something a little lighter. I use a lot of white containers or lighter colors. But I think this fits perfect with the mood that I'm trying to create, with the blend of flowers that I have. And these flowers have some really long stems. So it's going to make it easy to create something really large and beautiful for my dining room table. All right, so let's get started. I've put my floral frog inside. I've added a bunch of water, and now I'm just going to get started. Now, I want to preface by saying that I have actually taken some floral design courses. It's so fun to learn from other people. I have also watched lots of videos and read books, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos. And I have to tell you, everybody starts their arrangements a little different. And what I've learned through all my experience is you have to do what works for you. And what works best for me is actually to start with my greenery. Now, I always try, this one is very thick. I always try to trim the ends, which I'm going to do maybe with everything except the greenery. This is very woody. It smells like eucalyptus. It's a very woody form. The reason I like to start with my greenery is it really gives me a base. Now, I know there's other styles where people start with their main flower. I don't really have a particular main flower for this arrangement, so I'm going to do what works for me. I'm going to start with my greenery, and because this is a gorgeous flower frog, I'm going to be able to just stick these woody stems down in it. Now, again, if you don't have a flower frog or want to spend money on one, You can use tape, and I can promise you that just clear tape works great. Now I am snipping off some of these end branches because they'll just kind of rot down in the water, and we don't necessarily need them. Now I may use them for another arrangement. We'll see how many flowers I have left. So I'm just going to clip these and get started. I can't wait to see what you guys put in the comments that you thought I would use for my base. Now what I do is I like to just go around, again, creating that base layer, cleaning off the ends of your stems. And I like to kind of make it on, all 3 or 4 sides. This arrangement's going to be a circular. You're gonna be able to see it from all sides of the table. I'm just gonna fuss with it for a minute, and then we're gonna start adding our other layers. Now, I think today what I'm gonna do for my next layer is these Veronica are so tall and beautiful. I think I'm gonna go ahead and add those next. Again, adding some height now, some structure. And then after I do those, I'm gonna start placing some of these other flowers that are gonna be more of the fillers and then the spillers. So these are gonna be kind of our stand-up, taller components, and then we'll come in and blend with those softer filler parts of our arrangements and the spiller. All right, so I'm just gonna keep going. And I found one more piece of filler, or my greenery. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one, kind of look around and see where I think it needs it. I think I'm going to put it right here where it's kind of tall, nestled in with that Veronica. Yeah, so I think that's coming together. So you can see how these tall elements, it really works with this vase. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to start with some of my kind of filler flowers. So we've got these beautiful, look at the color on that. So I'm going to start adding those in. I also have the coral berries. So I'm going to add those in. Now I am going to save this. It's a type of status. You can see that color. I'm going to save that as more of that final little kiss of something fun. And I'm also going to save the roses. They're going to be more of our spiller. Okay, so now we've got that kind of mid-size filler in the arrangement. So we have the tall Veronica, then we come down to the next layer. Now the other benefit, I think, of adding the greenery first, it's almost going to be like a nest for our spiller flowers that we are going to do in just a minute. So let me go ahead. I'm going to start adding the coral berries, which is an additional kind of filler layer. I'm going to tuck those in around what's already in the container. Okay, so we have 2 more components. Let's go ahead and add some of this beautiful colored status, and then we'll have our final magical touch, the roses. Oh, that is just the extra little kiss. It just gives it such a fairy tale look. Just really working that filler in. Got a lot of stuff going on right there, so I'm just going to kind of, yeah, tuck it in. Oh, that was perfect. And I think what we'll do is add our roses, and then we'll come in and add any final tweaks. All right, so I think it has really come together beautiful. All right, everybody. So I just finished and put this whole little table setting together. I just think the arrangement turned out beautiful. It's going to bring so much beauty to this space, brightness, cheerfulness throughout the month of February. So I decided, instead of just putting it on the table by itself, I had this wicker basket. I use it all the time on my dining table. I use it outdoors. I got this at Pottery Barn years ago. It's really large. It's like a rattan, and it just works great. I also just added a little container with some candy. I'm going to pick up some heart candy, some vintage plates that were my grandmother's, and some little pink, just to give it a pop. I think that kind of brought all the colors together. So I hope you enjoyed my Saturday adventure of vintage shopping, flower arranging, and let me know in the comments what you like to do this time of year. And I hope that you will click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.